Hey everyone, welcome to the first part in my screen capture mini series of working on MiserableMac episode 2. For those of you who don't know, MiserableMac is an idea that I came up with back when I was I want to say like in 6th grade, about a kid who is this really smart guy and but is very socially inept. Or at least to an extent. And basically, the whole series is him kind of working through issues that maybe a normal high school student would go through. So what this is just a screen capture of me working on the animation, and I'm going to try and talk over it and explain what I'm doing, what my thought process is, or just talk about MiserableMac in general. So, like I said, right now, I'm working on scene 6. In this scene, Mac is, the guy in the yellow hair is confronting his fear, of talking to girls. That is something that he just can't do and he can't figure out. So he's going through it, and, he's going through with this challenge to like talk to this girl that, who has volunteered to meet up with him and basically try and help him get through this fear of his. So his friend Sam that I'm drawing right now is he's like one of Mac's only friends, but has kind of been there for him, or been there with him all the way through thick and thin, and he really wants to help Mac with this issue. So right now they're just waiting out in the hallway at school, waiting for her to show up. So right now I'm just kind of figuring out the pose that I want Sam to be in. I typically, my rough sketches that I draw before this even, the green outline that you see behind it, is very rough. I draw that's one of the first images that I draw when I'm planning out my scenes, just kind of like the initial pose that the character is going to be in. So when I actually get to that scene, then I usually have to redraw things and kind of actually figure out, okay, how is this going to look? So that's what you can see. What is now in the blue behind what I'm drawing right now, is that what the actual pose is going to be for the character. And I'm using a number of layers right now in this scene, which is something that I typically do. I use probably way too many layers to work on animations, for single drawings. But then what I'll do is I will use all those layers and then figure out which ones I can get rid of, or combine into single layers, or combine, and then I'll do that. And then, so then it ends up with a much smaller file size when you have fewer layers that you're dealing with. And I nest pretty much all of my animations within movie clips of themselves. So I think, yeah, what I'm doing right now is turning that into a movie clip, his body, and then putting his head on a separate layer inside the body. And then I think what I'll be doing is turning that head into its own little contained animation thing, so that I can animate it completely separate from the body and not have to worry about taking up keyframes or frames on or inside the body movie clip. Might be a little a lot of information right there, so I apologize for that. And what I'm doing right now is starting to color in the character. I have these color palettes set up so that I can quickly get all of the colors that I need to draw a character, and I can just pull them up on screen quickly from my library, and I don't have to deal with the mess of colors that you see over in the swatches panel, which are one of the problems. I'm using Flash CS4 to animate this, and Flash CS4 is not supported by OS X or OS 10 Yosemite, or even I think probably Mount Lion. OS 10 Lion was the last one that it supported. So now it doesn't support Retina displays, which is what I'm using to do this, and it also doesn't support. It doesn't select the correct color. If you're using the color eyedropper tool, it won't do it correctly. And what I'm doing right now is just getting the audio clip of Sam saying his lines so that I can do the lip syncing for it. So this version of Flash is really not very great on this computer, and I have Flash Creative Cloud, which I'm going to start using for all future animations, but for the time being, I just kind of have to work with CS4 for this particular animation. All future animations will not be done using CS4, unfortunately, because I really liked it as a program otherwise. I think it worked better than a lot of the other versions of Flash. MX, I think that was the other good one. So I'm doing the lip syncing right now, and what you're seeing, I'm using a tool called Keyframe Caddy to kind of I'm saying rough out the voice or the lip syncing because I have just kind of a bunch of different mouth shapes in a movie clip, and I can go through and using Keyframe Caddy quickly switch between mouth poses, I guess you'd call them, and just kind of get a rough idea of how it will look. So then what I'm doing is once I kind of have that laid out, then I'll actually go in and draw the mouth how it should look, because that particular mouth looks really bad for most characters. I think in this animation, I don't have any characters that can use that particular mouth. I think I just drew it at one time or another, and it just, it was, I don't think it was ever actually used for anything. So I use it just kind of to get a rough estimate of what each mouth pose should look like. As you can see, I'm really struggling with these mouth shapes. Doing lip syncing is one of my least favorite parts of animating. If you can do it well, it looks really awesome, but I'm not super good at it. So occasionally I'll have seen lip syncing that'll look really good, but most of the time it's just kind of like acceptable. So right now, I think by the end of this video, it won't even be sorted out correctly. It'll still look either I won't have finished it, or it will look really kind of rough. It will look rough. So here I'm just repositioning all of the mouths, because you gotta, when I'm just drawing them, they tend to move around the face a lot. Just because I'm not really paying attention to that. I'm trying to get the shape to look right. So then when you actually go in and animate it, then it'll slide all over the face, and you want it to be in a in a fixed position, because your mouth doesn't typically slide around all over the place. So yeah, right now I'm just kind of going through it and trying to figure it out. I'm actually probably gonna end up I'll end up redoing this or most of it, just because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. All right, that looks like that's the end of the first clip. I will check back in with you as soon as we get to episode 2, which should be uploaded very shortly. So look forward to that.